Did Jesus only seem human? The ancient lie still alive today. What if I told you there are people, even today, who believe that Jesus didn't really suffer, that he didn't really have a body, that he only looked human, that the cross was just a show? It may sound strange, but this was one of the first lies the devil whispered into the church. And the scariest part, this lie is still around today, in movies, in modern spirituality, even in how some Christians talk about Jesus. It's called Docetism, from a Greek word that means he only seemed to be human. But if Christ only seemed to suffer, then he only seems to save. And that changes everything. We all know the cross. We've seen the image of Jesus bleeding, broken, crucified. But what if someone told you he only pretended? That's the ancient heresy of Docetism. It says Jesus wasn't really human. He didn't really suffer. It was all an illusion, a divine play. This lie began early in the 1st and 2nd centuries, but it never fully died. Even today, people want a spiritual Jesus, not a real one. Every spirit that does not confess Jesus Christ came into in the flesh is not of God. John chapter 4, epistles. Because if Christ didn't have a really body, then we're not really healed. Our suffering has no meaning, and salvation becomes just a story. Isn't that what we sometimes believe today? When people say, you don't need the church, God is only in your heart. Don't take it literally, it's just a symbol. That's modern Docetism in disguise. Docetism didn't die, it evolved. Now it hides behind soft language. Jesus is just love, the body doesn't matter, the cross is just poetry. But the church fathers knew the danger. Saint Gregory the theologian said, what was not assumed was not healed. If Jesus didn't truly take on our body, then he didn't heal it. The word became flesh and dwelt among us, says John in his gospel. Today, Docetism looks like this. People who say, I don't need communion, I talk to God my way. People who reject confession, the church, the sacraments, and they say, Jesus is a symbol, they say. But the church says, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. John chapter 6. Modern Docetism tears apart the human person, body, soul, faith, reality. But Orthodoxy holds them together in Christ. God formed man from the dust of the earth and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, Genesis. We're not spirits in cages. We're human, fully beautiful human. If the body doesn't matter, then nothing is sacred. Not marriage, not death, not the Incarnation. Everything becomes just a feeling. Jesus becomes a symbol. The cross becomes a metaphor. Christianity becomes a lifestyle brand. And salvation, a feeling of peace. But if Jesus didn't suffer for real, then he didn't die for real. And if he didn't die for real, then there is no real resurrection. If Christ has not been raised, your faith is in vain. Saint Paul to Corinthians people. But he did rise, he did suffer, he did take flesh, bleed and die. Take, eat, this is my body. Matthew chapter 26, you can search. The Eucharist isn't a symbol. It's the victory of the God-man given to you. Every liturgy crushes Docetism, because every time we come to church, he gives us his real body, his real blood, his real presence, not a metaphor, not an idea, a person, Jesus Christ, the same, yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrew chapter 13. Docetism says he only seemed. Orthodoxy says he is. Lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Matthew chapter 28. God bless you.